And so I would rather him being in a single parent household or two parent, like two separate parent households where we were happy than us be together and be miserable and claim we're doing it for the child. I grew up in a separate parent household, but my parents liked who they were with, and I feel like I was happier with them not being together than I ever would have been with them being together.
Do you want to go to the beach?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Beachside Talks. I'm your host, Tunes, with a very special guest today.
Hi, everybody.
All right, we're gonna get started. I know it's late, you got things to do. So, you are a counselor, right? Am I saying the right terminology?
Technically, yes. Like a
Okay,
high school counselor, yes. Technically, that would be my title.
okay. Can you share
I
with us
am a CCMR, so College Career Military Readiness. That's what I do.
what's that?
Okay, college. If the kids want to go to college, I do that. Like I do that. If they want to go straight into careers, so like the workforce, so that's the career part. If they want to go to military, I introduce them to recruiters. So that's what it is: college career military readiness. This is really just what it sounds like.
Okay, then want to be here for nothing else. Can you share with us your personal journey and how you got into that career field?
Um, Actually, I that has not like my career, like what I went into and what I got my degrees in have nothing to do with that. Like I really don't know how I ended up in education. Um, to be
What
honest, they gave me a job, like for real.
What was your degree?
So I have a bachelor's of arts in political science. I have a bachelor's of science and human services. So that would be like social work, that type of thing. And then I have a master's of sociology. So it has nothing to do with education.
Okay. Well, I'm sure with that, there's a lot of kids kind of young that try to be friends with you and stuff, right?
Very much so. Because I got into my career, like I started working at a high school when I was like 22.
Ah, yeah, definitely should. Back in my
Yeah.
day, I would
So,
have definitely shot. Like,
yeah. So the kids were definitely shooting outside. The kids were definitely shooting their shot.
all right,
Like,
so how did you and how do you go about setting that boundary with the kids at work?
when I first started, like with me being like so young, I literally had to like write kids up. Like I had to be a hard ass. Like it was not my favorite thing to do, but like I had kids was like, "Hey, bro, what your husband don't know won't hurt him." Like that's the way the kids was coming at it. So I literally had to be like, "Okay, I gotta write you up." Like I just have to because I had to cover me, you know.
So with working with kids, I know parents, kids, and you have different type of ideologies. So how do you strike the balance between advocating your personal beliefs and the values and company policies at the school you work at?
So honestly, I keep my personal business out of it. Like I don't advocate my
Mm.
personal views at all. Like even if a kid asks me like what's your opinion, I can give them a professional opinion with like keeping me out of it. Like I don't advocate any of my views when it comes to my kids. I don't really advocate my views. I do what I think is best for the child, but I leave my personal views out of it.
So can you give an example of a time where you wanted to and had to catch yourself, or a time where somebody else wanted you to, and you just told them flat out no?
I guess we can say just because it's Pride Month, I mean we might as well go with the whole LGBTQ RSTUV. Um, like I've had kids that have been like trans or gay or bisexual and things like that, and the parents like totally don't agree. And so the kids are looking for a LGBTQ friendly school. Uh-oh. They'll be looking for a trans friendly school because that's important to some kids when they're choosing schools.
They want to
And
feel
so
accepted and
they
stuff.
want to feel accepted, they will, what I'm saying? So I've had parents that are like, well, I don't, basically they don't agree with that. And so they're not looking for a LGBT friendly school. And so I've had to navigate through that to try to find them a school that's going to be LGBTQ friendly without necessarily having to say that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But how do you deal with parents like that? Because I know you as a parent, you're very loving, very accepting, but I know it probably strikes a nerve when parents aren't accepting and try to force their child to try to be straight or try to be normal, as people would say.
Well, that is hard, especially when they use terms like, and this ain't picking on you, but it's certain terms like normal. Like, I want my child to be normal. Like that, it is kind of difficult. Like those things that's one of the probably would say hardest parts about my job is not necessarily like dealing with kids or so much, but like dealing with parents that don't accept who their kids are.
Yeah. And how do you advocate for the kids to let them know that, hey, they might not be here for you, but I'm here for you. I'm gonna accept you no matter how you are.
I say it just like that.
No.
That's how I say it.
So I keep it real,
I,
keep it simple.
I'm always going to be here for you. Like I let my kids know that my students know that I'm always gonna be there for them, regardless of what's going on, regardless of who not gonna fight for them, who not gonna advocate them for them. That's what I think. Like I'm going to advocate for my students.
Okay. And you talked about parents being the hardest part of your job. What's the most enjoyable part of your job?
The students, legit, the students. Like first of all, you get something new every day.
Hmm.
Like no day is the same, and that's one of the best parts about my job is that there's no day that's gonna be the same. Like you're never gonna walk in and be like, okay, so I know I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z today, and because I don't like that type of structure. That's just me. Like I don't want to go in, do this, do that, do this, and go home. Like I love the fact of like, okay, so what we gonna get today?
Yeah. So you're not one of those people who a stickler for a routine. You're adaptable.
No. Mm-hmm.
Mhm. That was ironically my next question. You said, yeah, how do you prefer your work environment to be?
Oh yeah. I need something different every day.
Most people didn't know you filed for divorce. What was your headspace like when you filed for divorce?
I didn't want my child to grow up in an environment where we didn't like each other or one of us didn't like the other person. And so I would rather him being in a single parent household or two separate parent households where we were happy than us be together and be miserable and claim we're doing it for the child. I grew up in a separate parent household, but my parents liked who they were with, and I feel like I was happier with them not being together than I ever would have been with them being together.
Because you could feel the energy would have rubbed
Yeah,
off
the
of you.
kids are going to feel the energy. Like they're absolutely going to feel the energy, and so it was better at that point for us to not be together than us to be together and claim we're together for him because he would have been miserable because he would have felt the energy because we were both miserable.
Okay. Well, even though y'all went through y'all time separation, y'all managed to, from the outside looking in, have a healthy co-parenting relationship. How did
Yeah.
y'all?
It wasn't really easy at the beginning. I mean, we both had to navigate because we had two different parenting styles. And, like with us being together and parenting, we have to kind of navigate, okay, you don't like doing this. I like doing this. This is how we're going to parent. When we were not together, we literally had to, like, he would do his own thing. I would do my own thing. And then Ace would have to, like, kind of figure it out. So
So
that's one of the most difficult parts about, I will say, about co-parenting was if you have your own parenting style and y'all not together, you can literally have your own parenting style. Like I parent him like I want to at my house, you parent him how you want to at your house, and it's kind of I ain't gonna say confusing for the kid, but that's probably the most difficult part when we had to sit down and be like, hey, we gonna have to do what's best for him. Like this just what it is. Like you ain't gotta like me, you ain't gotta like the way I do things, but let's try to find some type of compromise. Okay, you don't like this. You don't like the way I parent because of X, Y, and Z. Okay, I'll try to adjust. I don't like the way you do X, Y, and Z. So I'm gonna try to adjust. Like you literally gotta be to co-parent, you gotta be a grown up.
mm. So how did y'all get to that level of maturity? Because I know the split was like, all right, I'm still kind of mad at you, but a lot of people, when they're split from their significant other and there's a child involved, there's resentment and the child is collateral damage because people aren't mature enough to
True.
be able to balance their relationship. So how did y'all two guys, how did y'all do that?
For one, I went through a lot of therapy, so
Mm,
I will advocate for therapy. And two, I just realized it's not, and I guess we both did. It ain't about you. Like it's not about me. Like it's about him. And I know that sounds really cliche, but it ain't about you. Like I'm not going to. If I want to get back at you, that ain't got nothing to do with him. Like that ain't got nothing to do with the kid. Cause you literally don't hurt nobody but the kid.
mm. Okay, okay, I feel you. So what did the split teach you about yourself?
I was very well. I ain't gonna say very young, but I was pretty young when we got married, and I mean, there are some things that, of course, I can put some blame on him, but it made me realize I was pretty selfish. You know, I wanted things to go my way or the highway. Like I could be a brat. Like there was a lot of things about being God gracious, these bugs. There was a lot of things about just being young. Like and then I had only been into like one other relationship, to be honest, like pretty much. I was with somebody else from the time I was like start. So my parents wouldn't let me date until I was 13. I started dating somebody at 14 and I dated them until I was like 21. So I hadn't had another relationship, and I was used to things being the way that our relationship was, and I had to learn someone else, and that was difficult.
So during this split, who you think had more fun, you or him?
Me, because I was outside.
You went on a whole I'm divorced trip.
I had a divorce party. Is that what you talking about? The divorce party? Oh yeah, I
You
did
went
have
on
a divorce
divorce.
party.
It wasn't in your city you left. Remember, that was a trip.
No, that's what I'm saying. It was a party though. We had a divorce trip party. Like it was a divorce party.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
outside. Like I was having a great time.
Yeah. So how you go from discovering that about yourself, having fun at a divorce party, to rekindling and finding your way back to your husband?
um, we had to. I I'm trying to figure out how to do this without putting his business out there. But he had to literally hit rock bottom, and I had literally hit my peak of healing. Does that make sense?
Mm. I don't like the way you phrase it because it makes it seem like, from my span, it makes it seem like he was losing, like losing bad, and you had to go save him.
No, I didn't save him, but it was just like he had he had to hit rock bottom to get to the place of healing. I had already hit that place while we were together.
Mm.
So my rock bottom, hitting rock bottom to get to the place of healing was when I filed. He didn't do that while we were not together. So when we were not together, and then he finally got to the place to where it's like, oh, I do need to heal from some things. Then
it got there.
yeah, once he hit rock bottom I'm not gonna say hit rock bottom to the place of, hit rock bottom to the point to where I had to save him. He had to hit rock bottom to the place to where he had to heal too.
Yeah. Okay. He's not here to defend himself, so I can't ask you further details on it. But I think I got it. So what
I
has
ain't gonna
changed?
tell that man business.
Shout out to my guy. So what has changed the most about your relationship since y'all got back together?
We're both of us are less selfish.
Okay.
Like our ideas of relationships have changed. We don't attack each other, we attack problems. And I know that sounds really cliche. Like people say that type of shit all the time. Oh, am I allowed to cuss on here? People say that type of shit all the time. But like it's literally like, okay, I don't want to argue with you. We having a disagreement. What's the problem with what's the disagreement? Like, because it used to be we would get into it and we would attack each other. Now it's literally like, okay, let's fix this and move on. So our arguments are different.
Can you tell us about the last argument y'all had?
Yeah, I can. So yeah, it was my fault. I take, and that's
a
new
woman
too.
taking accountability is
That's new. That's new because I said it was my fault. Like normally, no. I went out with a friend, and got a little toasted and fell asleep in the car and didn't come home.
Who car you fell asleep
And
in?
his,
Who?
I was driving my husband's car.
And you fell asleep in his car
Mm-hmm.
and then come home.
Right. Well, I came home, but it was just late.
Didn't make a phone call probably either.
Probably not. No, it was actually bad because I actually said I'm on my way home, and then I had to park the car because I was too drunk to drive home. I was being responsible.
Responsibility would have been calling the Uber or
It
calling
would, but I was
calling your
drunk.
husband to come get you.
It would have been, but I was drunk. So here we are.
All right. This one I know you can discuss. Can you tell us about the stigma/hate you've received since getting back with your husband? Because women don't realize they bring their friends and family into their marriage and relationship.
Oh yeah, I might need it.
And just because you forgave, doesn't mean
am I supposed to
everybody
take a
else
shot on it? Can I drink on here?
You can.
Okay,
But,
definitely. Okay.
hold up. Let me make it add questionable shots. We'll be returning soon with a very special guest. We're gonna do it right later on this month. Yeah. Now
Okay.
back.
I'm gonna take a half my shot.
Okay.
Okay, so you're asking like, what was the backlash about us getting back together?
Yeah, and how you handled it.
So I lost like close friends, like best of friends. Because we got back together. And that's what I would tell anybody, like, you got to understand, because you over it, because you get over it, that don't mean your friend's gonna be over it. And it just is what it is. Like, you have to take that. Like, you just have to take that. But I always view it as I had to do what was best first for me. And I know people gonna be mad about the order that I put it in, but I had to do best what was best for me. First, what was best for me, and two, what was best for my child. And I know people be like, well, you're supposed to do what's best for your child first. Well, if I'm not in a good place, he's not going to be in a good place, because he's always going to feel that his mother is not in a good place. And I cannot raise him if I'm not in a good place. And what's best for me, even if it don't end up being permanent, like even if it does not work out, and I'm not saying that it won't, But if it does not work out permanently, I had to do what was best for me at the time, and I had to do what was best for my child at the time. And what's best for the two of us right now is for me and his dad to be in a good place, and it works for us. And so I had to kind of leave other people out of it. Like, I have family members that don't talk to me. I have friends that were the best of friends, and I understand where they coming from, like, oh, I went through it with you when you were in a bad place or whatever. So I'm not doubting, what they going through, but that's not what's best for me right now.
I think a lot of it is just that, because I'm like, I don't want to see my friends hurt. I
Right,
feel like I can handle all the stuff that comes in my life. But if it's
right,
somebody I care about, it hurts even more because dang, I feel like I'm supposed to protect you and you're not
right.
helping me protect you. So I understand why they'll be upset. But I also myself I stay out of people's relationships. You ask me a question, I can answer it, but I'm not sure. We don't have the same feelings.
Right.
That's why it's always, you see your friend's girl cheating on you, gonna take no. They gotta come. What's gonna happen? Gonna happen. I'm not gonna be in the middle because I've seen this play out 100 times. I choose a side. Boom. Y'all back
Yep.
together. Now y'all both mad at me. I can't even be comfortable around y'all because
Right.
the significant other don't like me. So I just nowadays.
I
So
stay out of people's business.
yeah,
I mind the business that pays me. That's what I do. That's my motto. I mind the business that pays me.
and I keep
And
people out my business at all
I
times.
keep at this point, yeah, like I do understand that I took some people through my situation with me, and that's my bad. But I have friends that be on the same stuff, like they'll go through something with they man or they woman or whatever, and I give them opinions, and then they get back together, and it's like, okay, well, okay, now we back. We
I
back with them.
understand that. And you're a mother,
Yes.
but you're also a fun person. So how do you balance it? Like having
I always keep being a babysitter. That's how I balance
to,
it. Cause I am a fun person. Like, you hang out with me, I'm a great person to hang out with.
yeah,
That's not to brag.
we don't kick there a few times. You my guy. But a lot of single moms that are married, moms who whatever phase,
Yeah,
they don't have that. So
that type
what
of support
what would
system.
be your advice to somebody who doesn't have this support?
I would say find other people that are going through the type of situations that you were going through. Like when I was not with his dad, I found other women that were going through some of the similar things. And so even like my friends that, you know, were married and they were happily married, like I could go to them with some stuff, but some stuff I didn't go to them with. And then you have to trade off. Like cause I'm really protective of my baby. So I'm not gonna let him go to anybody's house. Like he can't hang out with everybody. He can't go to anybody's house. But if you can find somebody, like if you're a single mom and you got another single mom, like you trade off. Like, hey girl, can you keep him today and I keep them tomorrow?
Yeah. I know a lot of, especially today, be scared. So finding somebody that you're comfortable with can be tough. How do you weed through that? Like, how do you weed through different personalities when you're thinking about who can I trust my child with?
You know what? That's one of the things that I'm still working through in therapy
Hmm.
because I don't trust him with a lot of people. Like that's just me. That's some childhood trauma that I'm working through, but I don't trust him with a lot of people. Like I just full disclosure, like my grandma stays with us, and so she's pretty much the one that always keeps him.
Well, you mentioned therapy quite a few times this interview. I want to, what has been some added benefits therapy has brought to your life this year, not the whole totality, just for this year, from January to June?
Oh, that's a good question. Because even when like, because I feel like I'm in a pretty healthy place. it's just the maintaining of of the healthy mental space. Like, because it's not just, how do I put this? Being healed is not it's not a destination. Like, you don't get to be, oh, I'm healed now. Like, healing is a constant journey. And
So it's
so the
ongoing journey.
maintaining, yeah, so just the maintaining of being healthy, so I can't really pinpoint one thing that has happened this year, but I will say the maintenance of being healthy, the maintenance of mental health has been a good thing.
Okay. All right. You're somebody I talk to. I ask you wild questions and you answer them. So I consider you like a sex advocate, in my opinion.
Okay, yeah.
All right. What does advocating for healthy sexuality mean to you?
What does advocating for healthy sexuality mean to me? Me, like I talk about it all the time. I only have a few rules. It's being safe and having fun. Like, that's what advocating for healthy sex life for me is. Doing what you want to do, like having a great time sexually for you and being safe with that.
Okay.
I see. Like, we overcomplicate sex life. Well, that's just my opinion.
I'm not trying to get in trouble.
Okay, come on, what we doing? Come on. Let's go.
All right. So how do you go about exploring your sexuality? Because I know you're sexually promiscuous. Would that be a correct term to use, Jim?
Are you trying to say I'm a hoe?
Nah, but you are. But I wasn't saying that.
You just gonna call me a hoe on your show.
You called yourself it. But yeah,
No,
how
I
do
was
you how do you
asking if you were calling me a hoe.
no, I'm calling you someone who explores their sexuality. So I'm asking you, how do you go about exploring it?
I did explore my sexuality, but I mean, I'm gonna be honest, women don't have that type of freedom, and you know that. Like, you don't have the type of freedom. I'm not gonna say I hid it, but I didn't talk about that. Like, it's not something that I just be like, hey, by the way, I'm sexually free. It's just once you start talking to somebody and you explore your sexuality with that person, I don't necessarily talk about the me exploring my sexuality with the person before them.
All right. How do you address your let me phrase this right. How do you address things like consent and boundary settings when you're having sex?
How do I what?
Address things like consent, boundaries, hard limits, soft limits. How do you go about that when you're being sexually active with someone?
I mean, that's why I say when I say we overly complicate sexuality, like, this is okay. Whoa, don't do that. I don't like that.
But,
I mean, it's really simple. Like, to me,
so you've never had something you thought I wouldn't like until it happened?
yeah. But when it happened, I'm like, oh, I like that. Keep trying that. Keep doing that.
Yes, sir.
I'm just, to
I
be
get it.
honest,
All right.
like, you can explore it with a person, like, because people are going to do, like, different people are going to do different things. And when somebody does something, if you like it, say, keep doing that. If you don't like it, say, hey, whoa, I don't like that. Don't do that.
All right. What's one of your hard limits?
I haven't reached that yet. Like, what's a hard no for me?
Yes.
I mean, you just want like one or two? Like,
Yeah, one, two. I don't. You said you ain't reached it, so I don't know how many you have.
oh, I would not. This is just me. I'm not a more than one male partner at one time. Like, that's a hard limit for me. I'm not doing it. It's nothing wrong with it. It's just that's just for me.
I'm actually surprised that you would say that of all people I know.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, that's one of my and I mean, that's just one of my hard limits. Like no.
What's something sexually that you started off disliking, but like you said, once it started happening, you were like, oh, keep doing it.
See, now you in my business.
My bad, man. My bad. Trying to help people learn about their sexuality and stuff.
I am an educator, so there's some things I just cannot say.
Have, have you ever role played as an educator?
Have I what?
Role played as an educator.
Have I role played or have I role played as an educator? Like, what can you
Role
talk about?
played, and
Period?
the role you played was a teacher or an
No,
educator. Okay.
I've not. No, that's not something I did because I do that in real life. That wouldn't necessarily be fun for me.
What's a fantasy you want to live out? It doesn't have to be sexual. It's just a fantasy you want to live out.
I don't know. I never thought about it. I do the things that I do.
You do the things you do. I respect that. I respect that. I respect that. All right. Ash, I only got a couple more questions for you.
Okay.
How do you see yourself in 10 years?
How old am I gonna be in 10 years? 39? Right. I plan to be financially in a better place. Not to say I'm in a bad place right now, but I just said 39. I hope I'm in a better place. Um, I hope that I have a few good friends, like just a good solid circle of people. I hope that my child is healthy and he still likes me as a person. And I hope that my spouse likes me as a person.
Okay. And my last question, outside of being a mom, an educator, a wife, who are you?
Oh, that's a good question. I am a very spiritual person. I know everything. That's what everybody is right now, but I'm a very spiritual person. Um, oh God, hold on, my husband's calling me. And he in the house, so I don't know why he's calling. I think I'm a very spiritual person. Good gracious, he keeps calling me. Um, I'm a good friend, I would say.
Mhm.
Um, I'm a loving person. I'm a loyal person. I'm really loyal to a fault. Because when I ride, and you know this about me, but if I ride for you, I ride for you like wholeheartedly. My husband is at the door. I ride for you wholeheartedly, like I'm ride or die. So I will say that about me. Um, I'm really educated. Um, I love to read. I don't know what else you want to know about me.
It was you. I asked you who you are, not what I want to know.
But that's me. I'm
Mm.
bad at. I'm a boss ass bitch. Like I be like really out here living. Like I'm a fun person. Like I am really fun to hang out with. Like I'm a great person to hang out with.
I agree. Well, I would like to thank you. Is there anything got to say to the people before we go? We got like 30 seconds left.
I don't know what else you want to know.
No, I said, do you have any
You gonna
message?
bring me back for the drinking show? That's the one I want to be on.
Your husband got to be there too.
Oh, that would be a fun show. We should do like a couple one.
All right. Yeah, I got y'all. I got y'all. Well, thanks for coming and thanks for y'all for watching. We out.
Bye.